welcome. Good morning, my Honorable Mrs. Elizabeth Sinaga and all my friends. Firstly, let me introduce myself and my friends to you. My name is Rasmindarmawati Sitinjak and my friends there are Irawati Borumunte and Carolina Sinulinga. Today we want to present our public speaking with the topic Audience Analysis. So, I hope all of you enjoy and let's start it. Well, from the topic Audience Analysis, we discussed 4 subtopics. They are 1. Why conduct an audience analysis? 2. 3 types of audience analysis. 3. Conducting audience analysis. 4. Using your audience analysis. So, before we go to the subtopics, it's better we know what is audience analysis. Audience analysis is the process of gathering information about the people in your audience so that you understand their needs, expectations, beliefs, values, attitudes, and likely opinions. It means understanding one's audience. It can help you gain valuable insight about your audience, which can help you choose and develop a relevant and meaningful topic. Now, let's go on to the first subtopic, namely, why conduct an audience analysis? There's some reason for this, and the first reason is to understand the value of acknowledging an audience. Imagine yourself in front of an audience giving your speech. This is the time when your relationship with your audience begins, and the quality of this relationship will affect how receptive they are to listen your ideas, or at least how willing they are to listen to what you have to say. One of the best ways to start this relationship is to find a way to acknowledge your audience. This can be as simple as making eye contact and thanking them for coming to hear your presentation. The second reason is audience analysis should guide your topic selection so that you select topics that are relevant and useful to them. Your choice of topic should reflect your respect for your audience. There is no universal list of good or bad topics, but you do have an ethical responsibility to choose topics worthy of listening. You have to realize that your audience will not have the same knowledge that you have. For example, if your speech is about the green lifestyle, it's important to frame it as a realistic choice, not a goal so distant that it's hopeless. In this case, you should use audience analysis to consider how your audience will respond to you, to your topic, and to your message. Third reason is conducting audience analysis requires that you adapt to the needs of your audience. This includes considering cultural diversity, making your message clear, avoiding obvious comments, and speak sincerely. Make sure you state topic clearly at the start, using words your audience will understand. Telling them what to expect from your speech shows consideration for them as listeners and lets them to know that you value their time and attention. Throughout your speech, define your terms clearly and carefully to avoid mistakes that mislead or worry people. Then consider audience diversity. Diversity is a key dimension of audience membership and therefore of audience analysis. Although the term diversity is often used to refer to racial and ethnic minorities, it is important to recognize that audiences can also vary in many ways. Paying attention to diversity means respecting all people and trying to avoid racism, ethnoracism, sexism, ageism, ethnicism, and other assumptions. Avoid offending your audience. It seems clear that speakers should use audience analysis to avoid making offensive comments, but even highly experienced speakers sometimes forget this ground rule. It's not just insensitive humor that can offend an audience. Speakers also need to be aware of language and nonverbal behaviors that convey or imply negative messages about people based on their various membership groups. If you alienate your audience, they will stop listening and they will refuse to accept your message no matter how true or important it is. Speak sincerely. To convey respect and to audience, you have to be sincere. You should examine the motive behind of your speech and your willingness to do the work of making sure the content of the speech is correct and represent reality.
Second topic, the topic is three types of audience analysis. While audience analysis doesn't guarantee mistakes in judgment, it will help you make good choice in topic, language, presentation style, and other aspects of your speech. But knowing how to gather and use information through audience analysis is an essential skill for a successful speaker. So there are three types of audience analysis. A. Demographic analysis. Information include factors such as gender, age, culture, and religion. Whichever method you use to gather demographics, practice respect from the start. For example, if you are gathering information about whether your audience has ever divorced, know that not everyone will want to answer your questions, so stay polite. Number 1 is age. There are several things you can learn about your audience based on age. For example, if your audience is freshman college students, you can assume that they have grown up in the post 9 or 11 era and have limited memories of life before the war and terror. The point here is that we must be able to convey what they do know and not offend them. Number 2 is gender. Most women have a different cultural experience than men in the same culture. In books such as You Just Don't Understand and Talking from 9 to 5, linguist Deborah Tennant has written extensively on the differences between male and female communication style. Tennant explained it, this is not to say that all women and all men, or all boys and girls, behave in one way. Even though your audience is made up of your adults who have not made any work or material commitments, they are still aware that their gender and the choice they make about issues such as careers and relationships will influence their experience as adults. Number 3 is culture. White Americans in San Francisco may be culturally rooted in narratives of distant ancestry from Scotland, Italy, or Sweden, or experiences or much more recent immigration from Australia, Poland. Not all cultural membership is obvious. For example, people in German American and Italian American families have very different sets of values and practice, but others may not be able to distinguish members of such groups. It is this difference that make each group attractive and an important source of knowledge, perspective, and creativity. Number 4 is religion. The dimensions of diversity in religion demographics are almost endless and aren't limited by denomination. Imagine doing an audience analysis of people. Even there, you will likely find many variations involving the way a person was raised, the adoption of a belief system as an adult, how closely one observes religious practice, and so on. Yet, even with these various aspects, religion is still a meaningful demographic lens. Therefore, from this diversity as a good speaker, it should not touch the issue of exciting religious difference. Part B, situational analysis. The next type of analysis is called a situational audience analysis because it focuses on the characteristic related to a particular speaking situation. Situational audience analysis can be divided into two main questions. The first question is, how many people came to hear my speech and why are they here? What events, worries, and needs motivate them to come? What is their level of interest, and what else might be competing for their attention? The second is, what is the physical environment of the speaking situation? How many viewers? This audience size give you the freedom to be relatively informal within the boundaries of good judgment. It is not that hard to make every audience member feel as if you are talking to him. However, you won't be so informal that you allow your carefully prepared speech to turn into superficial entertainment. Part C, environmental analysis. Environmental analysis is a strategic tool. It is a process for identifying all external and internal elements that can affect organizational performance. Analysis requires an assessment of the level of threat or opportunity that factors may pose. Analysis help align strategy with the corporate environment. For example, our marketplaces change every day. Many new things develop over time and entire scenarios can change in just a few seconds. So, if we are going to have a speech or like this, then we need to analyze the environment in which we will carry out the plan so that we can convey the topic well and can be accepted by the audience because it suits them.
For the part B, it is interviews and surveys. The most accurate way for you to learn it is by looking for personal information through interviews and surveys. An interview is one-on-one exchange where you ask a question to a respondent, while a survey is a question that is given to several or more than many respondents. Interviews can be conducted face-to-face by telephone or in a written manner, such as SMS. They support deeper discussion on the survey as well as more time to do it. Surveys are also sometimes conducted face-to-face or by telephone and online. There are several important things to note. 1. Make sure your interview and survey question relate directly to the topic of your speech. Don't use interviews to delve into private areas of people's lives. Limit your question to their opinion on the topic. Don't be confused with their beliefs about their sexual behavior or personal religious practice. 2. Create and use a standard set of questions. 3. Create short interviews and surveys, or you can alienate the audience long before your speech is outlined. Tell them the purpose of the interview or surveys and make sure they understand that their participation is voluntary. And the last is, don't rely on just a few respondents to tell you about your entire audience. Most likely, you have a cognitively diverse audience. Okay, so now we are going to the last material. It is about using your audience analysis. Good audience analysis takes time to preparation, implementation, and processing. If done well, it will generate information that will help you interact effectively with your audience. Professional speakers, company executives, sales associates, and entertainers all rely on audience analysis to connect with their listeners. Likewise, your audience analysis should help you identify your audience interests. Ultimately, successful audience analysis can guide you through the basic content of your speech and help you adapt your speech on the fly. 1. Prepare content with your audience in mind. The first thing a good audience analysis can do is help you focus your content for a specific audience. If you are planning to deliver a persuasive speech on why people should begin and you find out through analysis that half of your audience, you need to think carefully about your approach content. Maybe you need to adapt your topic. While there will always be some naysayers in every audience, if you think about your topic with your audience in mind, you may be able to find a topic that will appeal to you as a speaker and benefit your audience as well. And for the second one is adjusting your speech based on your analysis. Customize your speech based on your analysis in addition to using audience to help formulate speech content. These adjustments can relate to audience and physical arrangements. The feedback you receive from your audience during your speech is a valuable indication of how to customize your presentation. If you are speaking after lunch and find the audience looking sleepy, you can make adjustments to bring the tone of your speech to life. You can use humor. You can ask a few questions and ask to raise your hand so that your audience is actively involved. Good speakers can learn a lot by watching their audience speak and then making special adjustments to the content. The second type of adjustment has to do with the physical arrangement of your speech. For example, your situation analysis might reveal that you will speak in a large auditorium when you expect a nice and comfortable conference room and vice versa. A good speaker will be able to fit in. Thank you.